template. I'm sorry because there was a confusion on the time. There are those ones of us who are 2 or 3 hours behind, so there was a confusion in time. So we're giving chance to those who are not able to join on time to join the time that we had planned to join in. So we were trying to go halfway. So this conversation is by young people and children. So myself and any other adult in this conversation are going to have very little time to talk. So as I'm going to introduce my co-host, Isaac Koti. Isaac, you able to speak?
I'm here.
Just introduce.
Okay, so good. Can I talk?
Yes, go ahead, Isaac.
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. Once again, my name is Isaac Amonkote. I'm from Ghana. I'm also assisting in the facilitation of the executive managerial group of the African Movement of Working Children and Youth. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Isaac. So before we go on, I'm going to introduce Ms. Felicitas Motivedi to speak just to open this conversation as we move on to have our children speak. Felicitas?
Thank you, Jennifer.
Please switch on your camera. Thank you.
Great. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this session. We are going to be focusing on the role of children and young people. And as Jenny has already indicated, there's going to be very little talk from our side. This session really is important because when we talk child participation and when we talk inclusivity, we are talking about the people that have hired us because we are here for children, and some of us are actually making a livelihood because we're going to be listening to our employers as they are going to be sharing what it is that we really need to be doing and what it is that perhaps we need to be focusing on in terms of the current challenges and the gaps that they're seeing insofar as our interventions are concerned. As the CSO Forum, really, we do feel privileged that such a session could be there, and we thank the lead organization for having thought through this session. We have embraced child participation and inclusivity very widely this year, and we are privileged on the views and perspective that African children actually have. When you listen to children and young people, it's a marvel to listen to them because they really do have this thing. They understand the issues and they understand where we need to be going if we are to really have an impact. So feel free to engage. Please utilize the Q&A section and the chat box to contribute to the conversation and to the panelists today. We really are looking forward to hearing from your perspectives, your views on the subject matter, and thank you so much once again for being here. Thank you. Back to you, Jenny.
Thank you so much. I'm going to invite James to give us some opening remarks. James? James, are you with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Give your opening remarks.
Sorry, I had a short internet problem, so you can repeat. I didn't follow that side.
Give us your opening remarks.
Okay, good morning to everyone. My name is James Boyon, and I'm at the regional office here working with the ENDA, the supporting structure of the African Movement of Working Children and Youth, as so many also have heard about. And we are here also to discuss about children and youth. And when it's time to discuss about children and youth, it's more important to have the children themselves in the forefront to talk about what they have been able to do in terms of protections, in terms of development in each of their countries. So we are glad to have this moment, and we think it's going to be an interesting moment we want to have, because when we talk about the civil spaces, we always think about adults alone, but we think the children and youth themselves have so many parts. And not to be so forward, I will give the time. I will just say, wish you a very successful meeting and webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, James. I would really love you to speak in French and tell our colleagues who are listening in French, and probably they feel there's no translation, that there's translation in French and Arabic. So if they're able to move to the French flag and the Japanese flag, they're going to get French translation and Arabic translation.
Okay, there is French and English. Maybe I have to tell them how to, the process.
Yes, do that, please, James.
Because I tried to check it and it's there. Pour nos camarades qui parlent français, c'est juste pour vous dire qu'il y a sous votre application, vous pouvez cliquer sur il y a une icône en bas, c'est rond comme ça, c'est écrit interprétation. Donc, vous allez cliquer sur ça et cliquer français. Dès que vous cliquez français, vous pouvez avoir la traduction française, en langue française. Donc, c'est un peu ça que je voulais vous dire. Pour ceux qui viennent de nous rejoindre, essayez de voir les icônes qui sont en bas. Si vous ne voyez rien, essayez de bouger un peu la main sur l'écran de votre téléphone. Vous allez voir des icônes vont sortir et vous allez cliquer sur un rond icône. Cliquez sur ça et cliquez français et vous allez recevoir des informations en français. Merci. So what I was just trying to say, I was trying to explain to them that you just need to click on the icon interpretation or translation. Then you click either English or French. That is what I was trying to say in French. Thank you, James.
Thank you so much, James. I'm just going to give a small introduction about this webinar because for me, this is something very close to my heart, child participation. So I'm going to speak a bit, so I'm just going to give a brief introduction before my co-host comes in because this is your thing. It's not an adult thing. In 2020, there are so many challenges faced by civil society organizations, including child-led organizations, where social distance and has moved social consultation to virtual space. The questions are, can children and youth play any role? And if yes, what can they do? Are there any promising practices? How can that be accomplished? I think that's accomplished. In this essence, that children and youth collaborate with the CSO Forum in organizing this event, the roles of children and young people in evolving civil society space. So we have 4 children and young people in our midst, and I'm going to quickly introduce them. We have, I hope I'm going to pronounce this correctly, Keweluo Esohuna Esther. Please switch on your camera. We want to see you, Esther. Esther, are you there? I thought I saw you somewhere at some point. Esther? I think she dropped off. She's not here. And then we have Ajiso Gerald. Ajiso Gerald? You're not there. Okay. And then we have Farida Isuofu. Farida? Not there. Mariam, I have seen you. Mariam Sidibe. Hello, Mariam. Bonjour. Bonjour, Sid. Or is it bonsoir? Sorry, thank you, Dominique, for rectifying me. Bonsoir.
Mariam, tu nous reçois?
Mariam? You need to unmute yourself, Mariam.
Allumé.
Ok, ça va.
Oui, madame, je suis là, oui.
Ça va, ok. And then we have Kase. Kase.
Casse.
Oui, je suis là, oui.
I think I saw Kase.
Oui, je suis là.
Okay, okay. And now I'm going to hand over the meeting to Isaac Kote, who is my co-moderator, to go on in asking of the questions. Isaac?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you, Jennifer, for the opportunity. I think we are far behind time, so quickly I'm going to start with the questions here. So for those panelists who are not available, I think I have to shift the questions to those who are available, and then we start from that. I think if it will be cool, we can start quickly. Jennifer?
Yes, Isaac.
Yes. So I think we have Mariam, Kaz, and I think these two people are available. So I think they are here who.
We have Mariam, Marcel,
yes,
and Kase.
Okay. So the first question is about what are you doing for community engagement, especially budget, which goes to Estelle. And I think
Isaac, we can't hear you. You need to move near your microphone.
You can hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now. Thank you.
Okay, so I was saying that there are some questions here that goes to each of the panelists available here. And I think we only have Mariam and I think myself. So the first question is what are you doing to participate in community engagement, especially how budget, which goes to Estelle, but I think Estelle is out. Estelle is not online. So I don't know if I can continue with the second question so that the others can answer. When Estelle joins, she can answer that part.
I think she has joined.
She has joined.
Estelle joined, yeah.
Okay, Estelle, please, are you there? Estelle, tu es là? Hello? I think Estelle has left.
No, she has joined. She's coming in.
Okay. I think the first question goes to her.
Esther, tu peux ouvrir ton micro maintenant et
can you switch on your microphone because the first question will be addressed to you.
Okay. Question again is what are children and youth doing to participate in community engagement, especially child-sensitive budgets? So, Estelle, you have some few minutes to be specific in your answers. You have the floor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, merci beaucoup.
Thank you very much. Regarding the engagement of children with in relation to social activities, as children in our country and in our association, we work together in order to improve the right of children. I've lost her. She's breaking. And whenever I'm losing her, she's breaking.
James, tell. Okay, tell her to stay near her phone.
We are trying to cover any issue of children. Hello? So whenever that we are taking part to any budget meeting, we always try to ask the people in charge to show us exactly how much they have allocated for children. And if they do so, we are able either to congratulate them or to to encourage them to continue working to do what they are doing, or if there is no any budget that is related to children, by that time we will do our best to advocate about the budget in order to help children. For instance, in Togo, at the national level, there is a budget that is allocated for children, and we were able to influence the leaders to allocate or to increase the amount that was available for children. So these are activities that we are conducting so far. Thank you.
Okay. Yes.
Isaac, you have the floor.
Trying really hard to advocate on behalf of other children so that there can be a budget at the national level. Thank you, Estelle, for your contribution. I think we are going to continue with the second question. So the second question is, we heard you guys are doing so many things to ensure that children are not exposed, to hazardous environment and work. What are you doing as child-led organization to influence bylaws in your various communities? I think this question goes to Farida and myself. So Farida is not online. I think I'm going to do that quickly. So basically, as a movement of working children and youth in our various communities, we are doing a lot to combat child work, because even ourselves, we are working children and youth. So since we are already there to monitor issues concerning that, we have conducted some sensitization awareness campaign on that to local communities on the need for children to work, to limit their work. So we normally talk to masters, to patrons who actually accommodate children in their centers, in their workplaces. We usually talk to them to educate them on how best they can treat these children. So you can see that in this COVID era too, a lot has been going on where children have been selling across the streets, which is very sad, because even we as working children, when we go to that places to educate them, you can see that they are really suffering, because sometimes they don't even have the masks. They are not even observing the government protocol. They don't have sanitizers and all that. So we did our best to also share some of these items so that they can also be conscious about the virus. Basically, we have been able to conduct these activities to make sure that children's rights are respected. Thank you. So I'll quickly continue to the third question, which goes to Mariam Sidibe. What did you do? What did you do that allow community members to contact you in child protection and child rights relations issues? The question again, what did you do that allow community members to contact you in child protection and child rights relation issues? Mariam, please, you have the floor to answer this question. Thank you.
Ok, merci beaucoup, Isaac.
Thank you very much, Isaac. To say Mariam was supposed to answer this question, but she's not there. But what we have done within our community, we have conducted some sanitization activities. We sanitize people, sorry. We had some awareness campaign with the local leaders, and we had also to talk to people on the ground. We have to say that it was not easy in the beginning, and we had to work together with the authorities. And right now, majority are dealing with any issue related to children. We are working together with them, and we also create a mechanism to get in touch with the authority, and those authorities are able to know exactly the number of organizations that are in place. We have also different partners who are working in the same sector. What we have noticed is that many children are in jail, and those children are minors. They are not supposed to be in jail, and we ended up realizing that those children do not understand their rights. So what we do, we try to look for those children and trying to teach them about their rights. So anytime also we hear about violence at home, what we do, we always make sure to go on the ground and trying to find those families and trying to have discussions with them and to inform them about their rights.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mariam. I guess the network was a little bit bad, so I did not really hear what she said, but I can record some few comments from her that they were trying to create some mechanisms on child protection, and they are also working with other partners who are also in the domain of child protection. I think when we finish with the questions, there will be a floor for discussions. So if you have any questions, you can jot it down. We are going to continue with the questions. So the fourth question is how are you and your members using social media to communicate to your communities and colleagues during the pandemic? What did you do to support online learning and information sharing? And the question goes to Isaac, which is myself. So basically, we secured a small project that is on digital learning. So what we did was to go into the communities, the rural communities who did online learning, because we realized that even though the government put in place some mechanisms for children who are staying at home because of the pandemic to learn, that is on the digital TVs or using their smartphones, we also realized that the rural communities are far behind. Most of them are far behind because even when you get to a place like that, it's very hard for you to see a child having access to a smartphone or even this, apart from the smartphone, these digital televisions, which he or she can learn. So we try to distribute some materials which sanitizers and nose masks are included with some smart TVs and all that for the schools and the teachers to guide them to also have access to the digital platform. So apart from that too, we are also using our social media handles effectively to share our activities. When you go to Facebook, when you go to Twitter, when you go to Instagram, we are also using this platform to share our activities for the world to know what children and youth are doing in their small communities. So basically, this is what we are doing to also have access to digital platforms and also share our activities through social media handles. We are going to continue with the last question, which goes to Cass from Senegal. What are the activities you carry out to ensure climate change management in your communities? What are the activities you carry out to ensure climate change management in your communities? Cass, you have the floor. Thank you.
Cass.
D'accord. Bonjour à tout le monde. Moi, c'est Cass
Good morning.
Sénégal.
My name is Cass Diango, and I'm from Senegal. Regarding the issue related to the environment and climate change, each and every year we organize some activities during holidays, and we move in different estates. We also have activity that we conduct with leaders or the head of different companies, and we try to have a discussion about any cases of pollution. We request them to plant trees in order to mitigate this issue of climate change. We also discuss any issue related to environment, and we remind them that we have rules and regulations, that they should uphold to those rules and regulations. And sometimes we were able to discuss with them. We managed to sign an agreement with them, and also they've agreed that they will take into account almost everything that we've asked them to do with regard to the environment. They were able to sign, and up to now, we are able to do some follow-up, and we have noticed that they are still respecting whatever that we agree with them. And we also conduct some awareness with the population regarding air, water, and so on.
Allô?
Hello,
Oui,
Cass. Thank you.
c'était ça. Oui, c'était ça.
Isaac,
Yes, I'm here.
we can't hear you.
I'm here.
Come closer
Cass,
to the-
if Cass, please, if you are online, please mute your mic. If I think if you are done, you can mute your mic. Cass. Okay. So thank you so much, Cass, for your contribution as well. You really did great in discussing more with communities to ensure that you plant trees to mitigate climate change. You also go into agreement for them to ensure that there is no pollution in your communities. I think we are at the end of the questions, but I think I want to ask the delegates some questions. I think I did not really see the role, most of the role that you played during the pandemic. So I'll still give the platform to Estelle again to tell us what they did during the pandemic apart from sensitive budgeting. Estelle? Estelle? Hello? Okay, if Estelle is not online, I will give the platform to Cass once again to tell us more. Cass, are you there? Hello, Cass.
Oui, je suis là.
Okay, so I hope you heard the question, or I should come again.
No, no.
Okay. Okay, so you have the floor.
J'ai pas bien sûr la question.
Question again.
Okay, so the question is, I think you earlier spoke about climate change, what you guys have done, and it's really good. So I just wanted to know, 2020 hasn't been a good year because of the virus. And I think you have done a lot of activities apart from climate change to ensure that children are aware of the virus. I just want you to tell us a lot more about it. Kaz, did you get the question now?
D'accord. Concernant la pandémie
Thank you.
COVID-19,
With regard to the COVID pandemic, from the month of March, we were able to distribute soap and so on. We also had time to visit different households and to inform them about the COVID-19. We also came up with videos, and those videos are available in our YouTube page. And these videos really helped informing people about the pandemic and so on.
Okay, Kaz, thank you. Mariam, you have the floor.
Ok, merci. En cette période de pandémie, nous, les activités qu'on a eues
During this pandemic season, apart the awareness campaign that we did, we distributed food. We distributed food during this COVID pandemic. And we also recognize that during that period, many people were not able to make money. So we decided to target a number of families and help them with items such food and so on. She's breaking. And we also made sure to distribute any material, learning material to children who were not able to go back to school or to parents that were not able to send back their children to school. She's breaking. She's breaking. She's breaking.
Hello, Mariam.
Mariam.
Distribué dans presque toutes nos AEJT et au niveau national, presque de toutes nos AEJT.
We also conducted awareness campaign about mask wearing. We've also conducted a campaign and activities about PPE distribution, and we till now we know that this pandemic is not yet over. So we keep on reminding people not to relax or to forget on adhering to the requirement from the government. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mariam. If I can recall, you were talking about awareness campaign on the mask wearing. You also did some distribution of learning materials during the pandemic. Cast also spoke about producing educational videos for people to have more education on the virus, and then also share food items. So thank you so much, Mariam and Kaz. I believe Estelle is still not online. So I still have one more question for you two, before we continue. So what I want to know is, what do you do to influence community leaders to take actions? What do you do to influence community leaders to take actions? Kaz, apart from your activities that you are doing, what do you do to influence community leaders to take actions?
Yes.
Oui. Kaz?
Le dernier mot.
I was not able to hear. My connection was bad. Actually, the question was, what are you doing? What are you doing with your leaders to influence them to get involved to questions related to children and so on? So, what have you done to push the leaders? To push the leaders to take decisions and to help children during this period. The Senegal, we
appeler le CAP. Ce groupe permet aux juges de bien se protéger parce qu'il y a des limites où aucun enfant ou jeune ne peut régler. De ce fait, nous avions fait des recours aux autorités.
We had time to discuss with the leaders.
Chef de quartier.
For instance, and also we had discussion and we had different discussions with the community leaders and also the village chief. And we explained them how to respond to any cases of child abuse and so on.
Donner l'autorité de garder son enfant, mais il sera toujours sous surveillance.
There's a lot of background noise. There's a lot of background noise. I was not able to follow her.
Okay. I think there is a problem with the network.
Yeah, there's a lot of background noise. I was not able to follow up properly.
Okay. So, Mariam, are you there?
Oui, je suis là.
Yes, I'm there.
Yes, I hope you.
Oui,
you
quelle
heard
était la question? Je ne me souviens pas utiliser.
Can you repeat your question? I was not able.
What are you doing to influence your ladies, your action? Hello, Mariam, can you hear me?
Ok. J'avoue que point de vue, ça n'a pas été facile parce que ce n'est pas.
I have to admit that it was not easy for our case because at the community level, we know that some of our authorities are not so engaged or committed to the issue of children. And it was beginning, in the beginning, it was difficult. She's breaking. She's breaking. But at least what we can say is that the community leader, they were able to recognize our movement and they were ready to work with us. Oh, she's breaking. She's breaking. We have tried also to inform or to make them understand the leaders that they must at least organize themselves to have some money allocated about children, to allocate money for children issues. And if the money is available, this money should be disbursed properly and in a timely manner. She's breaking. She's breaking.
Amener un AGR familial, une AGR familiale pour un enfant qui est de retour de la mobilité. Donc, quand nous réalisons les activités, l'autorité arrive à nous reconnaître là-bas en réalisant les activités concrètes. Ce qui fait que chaque fois qu'ils ont les activités de prise de décision qui concernent les enfants, on insiste à ce que les enfants soient là. Et même alors, ainsi, quand il y a un cas d'enfants qui arrivent à leur niveau, directement nous sommes appelés par eux. Donc, ça part des activités concrètes que nous arrivons à mener et donc on les implique qui viennent prendre part. Parce que vous savez, quand vous réalisez une activité, il faut essayer de leur montrer les pas de responsabilité. Quand on dit que dans la commune de telle, l'autorité avec l'appui des VJP, ils ont fait ça, l'autorité aussi, c'est ça, un peu concernée. Parce que ce n'est pas à tout moment qu'eux aussi ils ont le financement pour aider les enfants. Donc, nous, on a des partenaires qui nous aident et qu'on les invite à venir prendre part à la réalisation de l'activité-là. Chaque fois que c'est comme ça, lui, il se sent mené, il se sent impliqué dans nos activités. Et même à notre insu, quand il y a des activités qui doivent concerner les enfants, et même quand il y a la réunion au niveau de la communauté, c'est quand les autorités là qui nous appellent pour nous dire qu'il y a telle réunion, il y a telle réunion, il y a telle réunion. Ce qui fait que nous, même au niveau national, le directeur de l'action sociale.
At the national level, the director of social affairs, every time we have an issue at the national level, is the one that gets in touch with us and informs us. And that is how we've been able to involve them.
Okay, thank you, Mariam. I literally did not hear really well with your contribution because of the network. It was really breaking. Hello? I did not really hear, but I think I had some few contributions. Quickly, I think we are going to open discussions where everybody will have some questions to ask them. But before that, I want to ask if anybody has something to add up to what the panelists have already said. Goes to everybody. Hello? Please try to raise up your hand in case you have something to say. Hello? Hello? Hello, is someone there? Hello?
Yes, Isaac. How can we help you?
Yes, I just wanted to know if someone has something to add up to what the panelists have already said.
So I think there are two questions in the Q&A and they're all in French, so I'm unable to read. If someone can be able to read them and then probably can help. James, you'll be able to read for us in French?
Okay, there are some questions here and they are in French. Yeah, I have only one question. The question who is in French, I'll read it in French. Quels sont les documents de base de votre analyse budgétaire? Est-ce que vous avez aussi accès aux documents de budget en cours de préparation? Si oui, quels sont vos principaux acteurs gouvernementaux? Ça, c'est Rosigana Massimilian qui a posé cette question.
Sorry, unfortunately, we couldn't follow during the.
Okay, thank you, James.
When the question was being read.
We also had the interpretation in English, but I think the question goes to Estelle. It's about sensitive budgeting, if I can understand. But I think Estelle is not online.
Oui, si Estelle n'est pas là, ceux qui pouvaient parler, ceux qui ont des expériences pouvaient aussi partager.
Those that have experience, maybe they could also intervene.
Okay, so I think Estelle is not online. Mariam, can you help with this question if you have any experience about that?
Oui, je suis là. Quelle était la question?
What was the question again? The question wanted to know whether you have any documents that you had used in order to undertake the budget analysis. What were the documents that you actually used? And apart from that, they also wanted to know whether what are the documents used for the preparation? Who are your collaborators in this exercise? Miriam, can you hear me?
Mariam, tu m'entends? I think she has some network issues.
Oui, quelle était la question?
Yes, I can hear you now. What was the question again? The question is, do you have any documents that you are using for the budget analysis? Number two, what are your major actors? Who are the major actors? Sorry.
Allô, vous m'entendez?
Hello, can you hear me? This is, yeah, go ahead.
Allô? Je n'entends rien.
Ok, je pense qu'il y a une perturbation de réseau.
I think there's interference with the network.
James, please, did she hear what she said?
No, she did not hear it. I think there is a problem of network. So there is another person who is raising hand. Isaac, you can try to take that person. Rosigana Massimilian.
Yes, please.
Jenny, you can help us.
Yes.
Alors, je ne sais pas si tout le monde est là, mais je ne vous entends pas vraiment. Je n'entends rien de ce que vous dites.
Madam Mariam is saying she's not able to hear what you are saying.
Just came back. She wants to answer the question first.
Mariam, tu m'entends?
Mariam, est-ce que vous m'entendez? Est-ce que vous m'entendez? Can you hear me? Yes, we can hear you, Mariam. Can you also hear us? No, I cannot hear anything.
Prenez d'abord la personne. You can take Isaac. There is a hand up there.
Okay.
Can we raise?
Yes, I see it.
Oui, vous m'entendez?
Mariam, please, can you mute your mic? We'll get back to you. Please mute your mic. We'll get back to you. Mariam. Okay, so Rizigana, please, you have the floor. You can ask, you can add up, or if you have any question, you have the floor. Hello, Rizigana, are you there? Hello. Hello? We can't hear you. Hello?
Oui. Est-ce que vous m'entendez?
Yes, we can hear you now. You have the floor.
Yes, c'est Maximilien qui avait posé la question.
Maximilian had asked the question wanting to know.
C'est moi qui avais déjà posé la question que.
I had already asked the question.
Et je voulais savoir à partir de la dame qui avait présenté, de la fille qui avait présenté sur le budget. Et j'avais l'intention de savoir si ils ont les acteurs au niveau du gouvernement et quels sont ces acteurs.
They have any stakeholders within the government and who are these actors or these partners or stakeholders?
Et je voulais aussi savoir s'ils ont accès aux documents de préparation du budget au niveau national. Et comment ils font, ils ont des memorandum of understanding avec les organisations, les institutions gouvernementales pour pouvoir accéder aux documents de préparation du budget national. Parce que quand elle a parlé de l'analyse qu'ils font, ils trouvent que le budget donné est minime. Ils font aussi le plaidoyer
in order to ensure that obtain an increase in the terms of budget. I wanted to know which institution do they deal with? Is it the Parliament? Is it the Ministry of Finance?
De planification, c'est ça que je voulais savoir. Merci.
In terms of planning, that is what I wanted to have as the information. Thank you. I apologize for the next network.
Thank you, Zigana.
Merci.
I think it's still about what he said, the sensitive budgeting, but still it's not online. If Mariam, please, can you come online? If your is good, can you come online and answer this, please? Mariam. Mariam.
Oui, je suis là.
Mariam.
Yes, I am here. I am online. Mariam is online. She wanted to know what was the question. Now that she can follow us and she can hear, at least she can hear the interpreters.
Okay.
Je crois que Mariam, can you hear us? Can you hear us? She can't hear us. With the knowledge that we have or the work that they're doing, is to say that most of them work at the level of the prefecture. They do not actually wait for the time when people are actually going to work on the budget. They anticipate in order to be able to discuss with the people that they are familiar with within the prefecture in order to know what is the budget that has been set aside. They try to ask the questions in order to find this information. And before participating to meetings that are taking place at the level of the district or the prefecture, they try to find out what are the issues in place, and then they organize meetings, group meetings, in order to see whether are we benefiting from the existing budget. And after this, they would take this discussion and present it to at the district level or the prefecture level in order to have a discussion with the people in charge within the administration. That is how it works in terms of budget. It's not something similar to what adults are doing and the steps taken They try to inform themselves on what already exists on the ground and to see whether these things are being used, and also to ensure whether they are already benefiting from the budget that has been established. That is how it works. I apologize. I think Mr. James is actually, Mariam is saying, yes, that is exactly it, because we are the one discussing on the budget at the district level and through different structures. Now, we do not have access to the budget. That is the major problem. We do not understand that the budget that is presented to us. So the easier for us is to negotiate from the point of view of our expectations.
Okay, so thank you, Kaz and James. I think Ruzigan, I hope your answers, your question, sorry, your question has been answered. Ruzigana? Hello? Hello? Okay. So thank you all panelists for your contribution. Jennifer, please, I want you to give me a helping hand here before we continue. Jennifer, please, are you there? Hello?
Sorry there. Sorry, I didn't hear the question. Yes? Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, Isaac.
Yes, for the open discussion.
Okay. So thank you so much, Isaac. You're an amazing co-moderator. So as we wrap up, I just want the young people and children in this panel to give us two recommendations, two things that you'd want us to tell the committee of experts on issues to do with civil space for young people, issues to do with budgeting, on development. What are the two key recommendations that you'd want us to give to the committee of experts? I will start with Fortumata. Are you there? Okay. Okay, Mariam.
Sheila Maramela.
Mariam? Yes, two recommendations.
Okay, the things we will grab recommendations.
On t'entend pas bien, Mariam, tu peux utiliser ton micro, s'il te plaît? Voilà.
Si on doit demander quelque chose, c'est...
If we are going to ask anything, oh la la. I can't really speak on behalf of the children. I was saying the state parties should also take into account children's participation and also consider children, because the children will be able to participate whether when they're considered. That is one, or when they're taken into account.
Et au niveau au point, après le point Covid, après la COVID-19,
after this pandemic, to have a development plan which is geared towards children, not to talk about a development plan haphazardly or generally.
On n'a pas bien saisi le deuxième. Hein?
Okay. La deuxième recommandation, j'ai dit.
Oui, the second recommendation, I was saying that after this pandemic, for all plans that will be put in place, they should also consider having in place plans that take into account the children. The issue of the child should also be highlighted. These are the recommendations I wanted to suggest or propose. Unfortunately, the connection isn't really good. I hope that I was understood.
Yes, you are. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate. The next person is Kase, to recommendation.
Ok, j'ai dit si ce que j'ai dit c'est bon, si c'est bon, je peux couper le micro.
Hello, Kase, we've lost you?
Oui, je suis là. Nous voulons que le comité des experts.
We would like that the committee of experts to take into account of children and to take into account the efforts and the well-being of children. But also during this period of this pandemic, especially for Senegal, we note that the children, especially from the Taliban tribe, they are always begging on the streets. And that will expose them to a lot of problem because they could also get the virus. So we wish for these children to be taken care of and put in safe spaces, and so that they're able to continue with their education in these centers or these shelters. And concerning MIGT, if we have the means to increase the sensitization during this period, because it's going to be very difficult to go on the streets and or to sensitize publicly or physically, because that will put us at risk. If we had sufficient means in terms of communications and online communications, in order for us to be able to convey or transmit our message using technology rather than doing it physically due to the pandemic. Thank you. Hello.
Thank you very much, Kase. Thank you so much. I'm looking for the next person. Isaac, as you wrap up, also can you give us 2 recommendations? Is James with us or he also left?
I'm here.
Okay, Isaac, can you give us recommendations before I give the meeting back to James?
Thank you for the opportunity. So for me, I think I have more than 2, but since you said 2, I will just give 2. The first one is in this post-COVID, stakeholders to consider children and youth, because I think the COVID affects a lot of children, and it is important to focus on helping the children to continue their training, education, and economic activities. That is one. And also, the state parties should develop spaces where children, and then also report or communicate on their rights. And then stakeholders should also be accountable to children and youth. Basically, these are what I recommend for the state parties to consider. Thank you. Jennifer? Hello?
I'm here. Thank you so much. I'm going to hand over this meeting back to James, who is going to close with us and tell us like what is the way forward after this meeting. James?
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much for facilitating, even with Isaac. And we have heard a lot of things from children and youth themselves. They have said so many things, and children have their own languages. So we do understand that they are trying to show us that children and youth, they are not just in the community just to see, but they can also make impact in the communities, even in the civil spaces that we are talking about, even the evolving civil spaces, such as ensuring that informations are being shared to all the people we think they have to receive an information. If I could recall back from what they have been doing since the breakout of the COVID, even adults in some of the communities were not able to do that in such a way that they ensured that information gets to each family. That is to say, information that being shared on social media. Some of them were able to discuss even on WhatsApp in their WhatsApp group. Some of them are easily able to communicate with their family members the information that even their parent doesn't have. They were able to have it because they are in solidarity, because they are in a group where they receive also the information about COVID-19. And also when we talk about social media, this period have permitted them also to use the social media wisely, that is to say, dissemination of information that is more relevant to the community than what we could talk about. That is, there's another aspect of it, that when we talk about accountability, children felt that the adults are not even accountable to them. The more they work in the community, okay, they come, they receive information, they go, but after that, there is no result. But children they are trying to show up that we don't want to be the person who provide alone the information, but we want to be also part of those who implement also what we do in the community. So they have so many capacity, and they can also share more on that. So if I could recall back also in some of the discussions we have with them, children's really young to have also their platform where they could also coordinate, they could also discuss with other children that are coming from every other region, any other countries. That is to say, we have to promote community negotiation or community dialogue and community engagement, even with children. That is to say, there should be a consultation cohort for children where children themselves could discuss about the issues that is affecting the communities. So these are some of the great things that I really learned from them. And even in this very complicated context that we are, the pandemic that have interrupted so many activities that we want to do, that children were also able to perform and also able to do something great, even with the accompaniment of their supporting structure in that. So to conclude, I don't know if any other two people have something to say before we could close up. I think we started a little bit late and we need to close up this. I want to say, I don't know if you permit, Jennifer, would like to hear from any other two or one person from the audience. Then from there, we could close for the day. Yeah, there is. Okay, we have Emma that wants to say something. We have Emma. Yes, Emma, you can take the floor.
J'espère que vous m'entendez.
I
Bonjour.
hope that you can hear me.
Pour
Good
l'initiative.
afternoon. Thank you very much for this initiative.
Okay, Jennifer, James.
Jennifer, James.
Mariam, Isaac.
Mariam, and the others. Isaac. I just wanted to say
la seule chose que
well
je
done.
voulais recommander
The
pour
only
les
thing
prochaines
that I wanted to recommend for future events
qu'on consacre un peu plus de temps
that
pour
we
la
should spend more time in the preparation of activities.
Les enfants ont
Have
beaucoup
a space in which
de dire, mais il faut qu'on
s'assure children have so much
les
to tell us.
dispositions sont bien
We need to be
prises
sure that measures are
dans les
properly taken.
conditions effectivement de l'appropriation des nouvelles technologies.
And also so that we're able to have this ownership of the new technology in order to have a better exchange.
Et que
throughout Africa.
De faire puisse vraiment être
so that what we are trying to do, what we are
par
doing,
nous autres les adultes qui parfois
is also known by adults that sometimes
que ces enfants et c'est ça que je voudrais que nous puissions retenir.
Well, in a nutshell, that is what I would like to propose.
Ce que se fait en ce moment avec ce contexte Covid qui nous a montré que nous avons utilisé l'éthique pour pouvoir faire
we have been shown that children are able to use technology to their advantage.
Et encore faudrait-il qu'on s'assure que les enfants
we also need to ensure that
ont les moyens nécessaires pour
children have the necessary means.
Comme cela se dit. Je suis sûr qu'il y a beaucoup d'autres enfants qui sont derrière, qui ont eu envie de discuter, qui ont eu envie de participer à mais ils n'ont pas pu. Ils n'ont pas fait un peu plus grand pour eux. Donc, voilà ce que je voulais recommander.
That is what I wanted to recommend. And then
il y a tous ces enfants et jeunes qui ont pu partager leurs expériences. C'est qu'il y a beaucoup de choses qui doivent ajouter, mais bon, les prochaines fois. Allez, à bientôt.
I'm sure there's more than that.
Ou bien.
But hopefully next time we'll be able to give them the space to do so. After saying that, thank you very much. Thank you, Eme. We have Faisal, but we have very soon have to bring the meeting to a close. Faisal, you have about a minute.
Thank you, interpreters, and we want to also thank Jennifer who have worked and diligently to ensure that this meeting take place. And we really appreciate your works, and we look forward to hearing from you. And then we will also share with you the report. And then we share the report with you. We also share the information from the children with you as long as we are done. Thank you very much, and stay at home and be protected because COVID is still real. Thank you. Jenny, I am done.
Thank you, James. I can see people still are lifting up their hands, but we've run out of time. I see comments after comments. You've managed to respond to all of them, James?
Yeah, we can still respond to them. There are comments. Okay, for example, we can just read out 2 or 3 comments. There is one comment from Musa, who is saying that things to be done in transparency to ensure that children knows what is going on, what is going to be done, and what have been planned for them. We should always think about children who doesn't have access to internet connection. That is what Musa said, and he came back again and said, in terms of recommendation, he's talking about that we have to ensure that working children should be considered. That is, working children and youth should be considered in terms of activities that should be done and in terms of education. So That is to say, nobody should be left out in what have been proposed and what have been put in place for children and youth. Thank you, Musa, for your comment. I think that is all. I think we can just close the meeting from here.
Thank you so much, James. I really do appreciate all of you joining us. I know some of us who are Anglophones, we feel sometimes as if we cannot follow, but now I understand how when you're speaking English and you don't have translation, how the other side they feel. We really do appreciate as the CSO Forum. Felistas, are you still there? Feli, probably you can do some closing remarks.
I think like the rest of you and James have already indicated, we can only thank everyone who participated and promise that this is not the last event we'll have with children. We are still going to have series of conversations with children. We really have taken this issue on board, and from here onwards, it's a partnership for life, so that we can continuously ensure that we give services that are real on time and services that can make a difference in children's lives, but also that we recognize what their views and perceptions are in relation to what we need to be doing, so that it can facilitate for us to design programs that are effective. So thank you so much. We will be making a communique, which we will be handing over to the committee tomorrow. So some of the recommendations that are coming from the session are going to make part of that communique. So thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you so much, Felistas. We really do appreciate it. And bye everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. So thank you so much.